so you can get caught up. But in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to run our PlayStation 4 games this time on a jailbreakable PS5. So we looked at PlayStation 5 game backups in a previous video, and of course game backups are essentially retail games that you own, like your own disc-based games that you dump on a jailbroken PS5 to turn them into a backup version that you can run without the original disc in case the original disc gets damaged or lost in the future. You will still have a backup version that you can run on your jailbroken PS5. So we looked at how to do that with PlayStation 5 games. PS4 games are different. They install differently. They're actually a lot easier and more convenient to install and use compared to the methods that we have to use on PS5 games right now. So I'm going to cover the basics here, show you guys how to get them installed. We'll also go over some common problems and how to avoid them, and we'll also look at alternative installation methods like being able to install them remotely over your network connection as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this here. So if we switch over to our computer, so I have a couple of games on my computer like Ghost Recon and Crash Team Racing here. So your PlayStation 4 games come in these PKG files, package files, and if you go to View, Show File Name Extensions on Windows Explorer, you can check the file extension to make sure that your game is a .pkg file. Now, it might be compressed in like a zip archive, 7-zip archive, or WinRAR archive. You'll just need to extract it to get the package file itself. So you've got the package file here. Now, sometimes the game, the DLC, and the update can be merged into one package file, so it's just one file, but you need to install. Most of the time, though, they are separated into the game, the update, and then each DLC pack has its own package file as well, so you need to install all of the package files to get the game, the update, and the DLC all installed. That's kind of like installing APK files on an Android device, where you can basically sideload these APK files to install apps onto an Android device. It's the same situation here with the PS5. You've got these package files that you install to sideload applications and games onto the console. Now, these package files need to be what's known as fake package files, which are package files designed to run on a jailbroken console, so we need to make sure we have the correct package file type. So one of the applications that can help here is PS4 Package Viewer by Elman. This is an old application, but I just like the simplicity of this application, so I do like to use this. So I'll leave this links down in the video description. Basically, all you need to do is download it, copy it somewhere on your computer where it's not going to get deleted, and then you can take any of your package files here, right-click on them, and select the Open With option. And then choose another application, and then you want to scroll down to the bottom and choose an app on your PC, and then you want to select the PS4 Package Viewer application and find the exe file and select it and select Open. And then we want to say always associate package files with this application. And now it will open this up in Package Viewer. And that means any other package files that you have for the PS4, you can just double-click them now, and it will automatically open them in this package viewer to give you the information. So if we open up the main game here, which is this package file, if I double-click on this, it says it is the game package. It says it's fake, so it is a fake package, which is installable and runnable on a jailbroken PS5, which is what we want. If it said retail there, then we would not be able to run this. We also have the title ID if we scroll down. So the game, the DLC, and the update all need to be for the same title ID. So if the game has one title ID and then the update has a different title ID, it will not install the update. So we can see the title ID is CUSA02819 for this game. And then if I open up the update package file, it says it's a patch. It's a fake package file as well, which is what we want. And the title ID is also 02819. So that should work. And then again, the same with any DLC content. If I just open up one of the DLC packs, we can see it's an add-on/theme, it's a fake package file, and it's also for 02819 as well. So they should all work with each other, which is what we want. So the simplest way to install your package files is to just copy them to the root of an exFAT formatted USB drive. You can right-click on the drive and go to Properties and make sure the file system is exFAT. Make sure it's not anything else. If it is something else, then you can back up any data on the drive, and of course you can right-click and format it, and reformat it in exFAT format, and click Start to reformat the drive. Then you can go into the drive here. You can see I still have my Homebrew folder containing my PS5 game backups, but for my PS4 game backups, all I need to do is simply go ahead and extract the package files directly to the root of the drive. Do not put them inside a Homebrew folder, do not put them inside any folders on the drive, just put them directly in the root of the USB drive. And then I'll do the same thing with Ghost Recon as well. I'll copy the package files directly to the root of the USB drive, including all of the DLC packs. Now, just like the PS5, backport patches are still needed to make new games run on older PlayStation 5 firmwares. It's the same with PS4 games. Luckily, it's not as much of an issue with PS4 games because, any PS4 games that don't have a PS5 equivalent version, those will be usually older PS4 games that can run on pretty much any PS5 firmware anyway. And then, of course, for other PS4 games, pretty much all of the update files are already backported to work on older firmwares. So you can just install the update file, the normal update file, and it will work on a jailbroken PS5. So backports are still something to be aware of, but they're not as much of an issue as they are on PlayStation 5 games. So once we have the package files copied over to the USB drive, we can unplug the USB drive and plug it into our PS5. Again, I would recommend plugging the USB drive into one of the back USB ports or the USB-C port at the front, not the USB Type-A port at the front, because that's a slower speed USB port, so the package files will take longer to install. Okay, so back on the console, we want to run the payload manager once you have the jailbreak running, and then we can run our KStuff Lite payload. Now, if you don't already have KStuff Lite installed, you can run the Nano DNS payload and make sure your PS5 is connected to your network, and then you can go into the cloud repository and find KStuff Lite version 1.08 or higher, and simply install it from there. Of course, I cover how to install KStuffs and Nano DNS in my main tutorial, which is the first video in the playlist, and now we can run KStuff's Lite here to get it running on the console. We also do not need to run Shadow Mount Plus here, mainly because Shadow Mount Plus is just needed for PS5 games. All we need is KStuff in order to run our PS4 games. So now all we need to do is head over to the debug settings by going to Settings, scrolling down to Debug Settings, Game, and then we can go to Package Installer, and then we have our package files here, and then all the package files on the USB drive should appear in here, and you can either install all of them or select them individually to install. Now, when you install these are not running off the USB drive. They're on the USB drive, but once you install them, they will be installed to the internal SSD on the PS5. Now, if you want to install them to a different location, like an extended storage drive, like an external hard drive that you have formatted as extended storage for the PS5, or an NVMe drive that you have installed in the internal M.2 bay in the PS5 itself, then you can head back out to your settings, go to the storage settings, and go down to installation location, and select PS4 games and applications, and change it from the console storage to your NVMe drive or your extended storage drive. And then when you install the package files, they will be installed to that drive instead of the internal console storage. So I'm just going to install them to the internal storage, so I'll head back to the package installer in the debug settings. Now, what you'll notice if you install a game, for instance, if I install the game Crash Team Racing, you can install these package files individually just by selecting X on them, and it will start installing it as you can see here, so we get the progress bar appearing when it is installing a regular package file. And then once the progress bar is complete, it will be finished installing and it's now ready to play. But when you go to install an update file, they usually behave differently. So if we go to install an update file here, you can see it just happens instantly, and that's because it doesn't actually show the progress bar. It will add the update file to your downloads, so you have to go into your downloads and uploads to be able to see the progress of the update file that is being installed for the game. Now, the reason I'm showing that individually is that there's an issue that can happen if you go to install all. It's not really an issue, it's more just like a UI bug. If you go into the debug settings, game, package installer, and if you just select the install all option, instead of installing the package files individually, which is more convenient, you can just install all the package files that you have on your USB drive by hitting install all packages. But what you'll notice, you'll get stuff like this, where it says error has occurred, and then it looks like it's stuck on the installing bar, and like something's gone wrong and it's frozen. But what's actually happening here is it's installing the update file first, and because the update file does not have the normal install progress bar, it goes into your downloads, but you're stuck in this package installer section. It looks like everything's frozen and something's gone wrong, but the update file has just been added to your downloads and it's being downloaded in the background. You just can't see the progress of it, so you just have to wait for the update file to be completed, and then it will start installing the next package file. So it's not actually frozen, although it looks like it's frozen when you hit the install all option. As you can see there, it's now been added to downloads. It's now basically installed the update file, and now it's installing the game package file. So the progress bar usually does not appear when it's installing an update file. which can make it look like it's frozen when it's actually not. Okay, and there we go. That is everything now installed. If we head back over, I'm going to be getting those notifications popping up about the add-ons for quite some time here. This was a lot of DLC packs. If we press Options over the game and go to Information, we can see the version number is 1.31, so it has been updated. So the update patch was successfully installed, and we can press Options and also go to Manage Game Content, and that will show all of the DLC packs that are installed as well. And as you can see, they are all installed. So anyway, let's go ahead and run the game here. Make sure it loads, and that we're all good. Yep, and here we are loaded up into the game. Here we're getting all of our unlocks popping up, showing that the DLC has been successfully applied. We're getting constant things popping up. Light Hunting Jacket has been successfully unlocked. Wilderness something has been unlocked. So yeah, it looks like all the DLC seems to be working as well. Now, one of the common issues you can run into is when you install an update file and it fails to install. For instance, I'm installing Crash Team Racing Update 1.20 here. This is a previous update that I had, or Crash Team Racing, and you can see in this case it just fails. It says it can't install once it finishes trying to install it. It just says it cannot install, and if I check the error, it just says that something went wrong. So this is an issue you can run into, and this normally happens when the game and the update file were dumped on different consoles. So, you create the game update on one console, you create the game package file on another console, then the update does not work. It fails to install, even though they're for the same title ID, so they should technically work, and they're also fake packages, but you will still run into this issue. So there is a fix for this, but it involves having to basically rebuild the package. But luckily, there are tools that make this pretty straightforward, so if you are running into this issue, one of the things you can try here, if we switch back over to the computer, I have the problematic update here that's not installing. We can use software like PS4 Tools. I'll leave a link to this one in the description too. So you do is extract the folder to your computer, and then you can run the install command, which is the run.cmd. So you can right-click and run this as administrator, and then that will go through and install everything. So there we go. It should all be installed. And once it's installed, what we can do is go back to our package file. If you right-click on any of the package files now, you'll have this PS4 Tools option, which has lots of different options to manage the package files. You can extract them, get the information from them, lots of different functions. So all you do is you highlight the game package file that the update is not working on. So highlight that one and also highlight the update file itself that isn't working with that game. And then you can right-click and go to PS4 Tools and select the Remarry option. Select that option, and then it will do everything for you. It will extract the update file and then rebuild it based on your game file that's not working. Okay, and there we go. It is now done. So I can press Enter to continue, and we now have this remarried version of the update file here, version 1.22, which should now work with this version of the game. So back on the console with the version that was not working there, cannot install this update file, so I will cancel and delete it. And then we will go back to the package installer, go back into the package installer, and we can see we now have the remarried package file that we can install. So we just select this one, and that will get it added to downloads. So added to downloads, if we go to downloads, we can see it's installing here. I think my USB drive is thermal throttling at this point because it's taking a while to install. But there we go, it is done, and as you can see, it's successfully updated this time, no more error message. If we check our information, it is updated to version 1.20, we'll make sure it actually runs here, and there we go, the game is running. Fantastic. So yeah, there we go, that is basically how you get your games installed and fix issues with the update not working. You can remarry the update file to your version of the game, as long as, again, it still needs to have the same title ID and be a fake package version, both the update and the game, in order for it to work. So if you want to install your package files remotely over the network connection instead of installing them off a USB drive with the package installer, you can either use Alpha Arsenal, although it doesn't seem to be working right now. There is a package installer built into Alpha Arsenal that can install your package files remotely, but it just seems to fail at the moment with the current version that's available right now. At the time I'm recording this video, I'm sure it will be fixed in an update, but right now it doesn't seem to be working. Once it is fixed, that would be a good option. But for now, what I would recommend using is PS5 Upload. So you can basically download this. It supports many different platforms. You've got Android, Linux, macOS, and Windows. So the Windows x64 version is here that you can download, and you also need to download the payload that goes along with it as well. Now you can get your IP address for the PS5 by heading into the settings, going to System, System Software, and Console Information, and note down the IP address there. And then we can open up the PS5 Upload software, and in the Connection tab, we can enter the PS5's IP address in that box, and then click the button to bring up the PS5, which will send the payload over and get connected. Now you can also run the payload directly on the console with the payload manager if you copy the payload file to the root of your USB drive, plug that USB drive into the PS5, and then on the PS5, we head into the settings on the payload manager, make sure Scan USB Payloads is ticked, and then go to Manage Payloads, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and then you have PS5 Upload, and you can move it or copy it to the internal storage, and then you'll have the payload available in the dashboard on the payload manager that you can load to get the payload running. So once you have the payload loaded on the console, it should be connected on the console itself. So in the Connection tab, you should see everything lighting up green here, showing that the payload is running and that the application is connected to the PS5. So from there, we can then head into the Install Package option. And in the Install Package option, we want to make sure we have both of these options ticked here. So make sure they're both ticked. And then down at the bottom, we have our package file. So I can take a package file like PT here, and then just drag it in. Drag in any of your fake packages, and it will start uploading them to the console, as you can see here. And then once it is done, it does go black screen that has to kind of refresh the UI whenever you install a package file on higher firmwares. So this is just part of the installation process. Once it returns back to the dashboard again, we can see it gets added to downloads. I can check my downloads, and I'll see that it is being transferred over or is being installed here. So if we go to Uploads and Downloads, we can see it there. It's finishing the installation, and now it is ready to play. So that's how you can also send your package files over your network connection instead of installing them off a USB drive, but installing them off a USB drive is generally faster and more reliable than using any kind of remote package installer. There are lots of other ways to install your PlayStation 4 games. There's Homebrew applications that you can use, certain applications that make it easier to install them. The reason I didn't cover those is that a lot of those methods allow you to just download games for free, which is obviously something I cannot show or endorse here in this video for obvious reasons. So that's why I take more of a manual approach, showing you guys how to install your PlayStation 4 game backups. Anyway, that's going to basically do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this one or found the information useful. Remember, the playlist is linked down in the video description that has all of the videos I've made in the series so far, so keep an eye on the playlist for any new videos that I upload in future. So that'll do for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video or